Hi, welcome to An Artist's Journey, the podcast about creating and thriving as an artist. I'm your host, Malcolm Dewey, an artist and writer, and I'm living the artist's life. So let's get started. Right, welcome to episode 2 of An Artist's Journey podcast. And in this episode, I'm going to deal with another important topic, and that is the one about rejection. Yes, it sounds pretty grim, actually, especially as an artist. Facing rejection is one of the hardest things we have to do. There's no doubt about it. It's never fun when you get rejected. The other way to look at this is without rejection, you're not really in the game, because participating in the life of an artist means having to face rejection from time to time. And if you're standing on the sidelines, afraid to get involved and build your career and your art and put your art out there, well, then that would be a real shame, and you're missing out. So to participate means accepting that you're going to get rejected from time to time and take that as a sign that you are doing something positive. The other aspect to keep in mind is that rejection is not about determining whether you are good enough or not to be an artist. Anyone good at art has been rejected many times already. I've used as an example in the past the author Stephen King, who had a practice of putting his rejection notes on a nail on the wall until it got to the point where there was no more space on the nail to hang his rejection notes anymore. So he started keeping them on a spike on his desk and filled that spike up with rejection notes as well. It took him years of struggle. He had ample opportunity to stop and accept rejection as the final nail in his writing career. The other important thing about rejection is that it means that you're not trying to please everybody. The fact is, trying to be something for everyone is a recipe for mediocrity. And artists can't be mediocre. That's just death for an artist. It doesn't matter what art you create, any art form or any creative activity, if it is simply a cookie cutter approach and churning out what may be trendy at one point in time, all that's going to do is make you a slave to those trends. And when that changes, suddenly you're left behind and are floundering to find what is the next cookie cutter thing to try out. If you're really an artist, that is going to make you extremely depressed very soon. So produce your own art and do the best you can with that art. So it does mean keeping up with improving your technical skill and the ideas that you have. And motivate yourself, put yourself out there and push yourself to create the art that you need to create. Let's have a look at another example of artists that were rejected and how that sparked greatness. The best example I'm thinking of is people like Claude Monet, Degas, Renoir. They all had to experience the rejection from the official salon that would select works for the annual exhibition in France. All of the Impressionists were rejected, of course, because they weren't painting in the old style of the master artists. This new style of painting was regarded as vulgar and was rejected out of hand. The reaction eventually became so great to this rejection that the Emperor Napoleon called for another exhibition, the exhibition of the rejected artists. they got to display their impressionist paintings, and that's where the phrase impressionist or impressionism came from, was in fact a criticism of Monet's painting that was called Impression Sunrise. So the point there is greatness came out of rejection, and the painting world was never the same again. Another real plus about being rejected is it helps to build character. Yes, unfortunately, we're all put to the test, and our character has to stand up to it, and it can take quite a beating. But you find out who you are. If you can rise above a difficult situation, see the path ahead, and keep going, keep your focus on your goal, building your career, improving your art step by step. If you can take the criticism, take the rejection, no matter how burning it might be, and forge ahead, well, that is the recipe for success. Now, if we all learning how to walk and you fall down as a little child, what do? Just sit there and say, well, this walking lark isn't for me. All I do is fall over. I'm going to just crawl around for the rest of my life. Thanks very much. No, well, that's the last thing a child does. It's straight back up on its feet again and totters along and then falls over and repeats it until it's not only walking but running. The same with us as artists. So what about keeping your focus? Keeping focus these days is actually very difficult. It all blends in with problems like procrastination, and it's something that keeps us from getting stuck in and doing our good work. So what counts in the end is the work you produce. All right, so if you keep your focus and aim on producing good work, even if people don't get it right away or they're not responding well to what you're putting out there, keep at it, work on the quality, make sure you are keeping your technical skills strong, that you're learning and lifting up your game slowly but surely. You'll find that things turn around and start going your way. It's all about staying focused and true to your goal. Another important benefit of rejection is it teaches us patience and not to react in a negative way. For example, trying to have the objective of rubbing your critics' noses in it one day and being fueled by bitterness or even the desire for revenge. Take, for example, the story of Mozart and his rival Salieri. You may have seen this in the movie Amadeus, where Salieri goes out of his way to destroy Mozart, and it ends up destroying Salieri, of course. He is eaten up by his jealousy. So rather take your success as granted if you keep persisting, and eventually you're going to get the rewards, and you would have earned them honestly with a clear spirit. You'll be all the happier for it. Final thoughts about rejection as well is, while there are these benefits to building you up and keeping you strong and focused, of course, we don't want to get you to like rejection either. The object, of course, is to get accepted over time and get better and better. And of course, the odds of improving your reception for your work improve over time. But there are a few people that can't let it go, have the attitude of the world's out to get them and nothing will go right, everything's unfair and the cards are stacked against them and so on. This is probably one of the worst situations I think one can end up in. And you don't want to keep blaming the system. You actually want to stay true to your creative path and don't get pulled down into this quagmire of self-pity. It's really not attractive and it's not going to help you with your career. So in the end, as an artist, it comes down to just taking responsibility and getting to work each day. And I love this quote by Charles Bukowski, and he says, if you're going to try, go all the way. Otherwise, don't even start. This could mean losing girlfriends, wives, relatives, and maybe even your mind. It could mean not eating for 3 or 4 days. It could mean freezing on a park bench. It could mean jail. It could mean derision. It could mean mockery, isolation. Isolation is the gift. All the others are a test of your endurance and how much you really want to do it. And you'll do it despite rejection and the worst odds, and it will be better than anything else you can imagine. If you're going to try, go all the way. There is no other feeling like that. You will be alone with the gods, and the nights will flame with fire. You will ride life straight to perfect laughter. It's the only good fight there is. And on that thought, I'm going to leave this subject and hopefully a few things to contemplate. Don't despair if things aren't going well. Keep giving it your all and go all the way. And with that, I say goodbye and thanks very much for joining me and cheers for now.